Senate Democrats are split on the most obvious legislation on the planet, legalizing marijuana. Senator Chuck Schumer confirmed that he. Let me start that again. I messed that up. I want it to be good. I want it to be smooth. I want it to be smooth, people.
We want to be smooth like sativa.
People are saying they like it when we're smooth. Okay. All right. Senate Democrats are split on the most obvious legislation imaginable, and that's marijuana legalization. Senator Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, has promised a floor vote on marijuana legalization, but he's running into some obstacles with Senate Democrats standing in the way. He can't even get his own caucus to agree on that legislation. So 2 Democrats actually did speak to Politico and confirmed that they are not in favor of legalizing marijuana. For instance, Senator Jeanne Shaheen said, quote, and this is embarrassing, "I don't support legalizing marijuana. We're in the middle of an opioid epidemic. And the research that I've seen suggests that that is a way that more people get into drugs." What's the research you've looked at? Please share it.
Please share, yeah, please share.
Yeah, what reefer madness research are you looking into?
By the way, the government is actually, or not, in fact, not just the government, no one is allowed to do research on it because the government has marijuana as a Schedule I drug. So she just made that up.
She did make that up, and I also want to just note that the reason why we have an opioid epidemic is because we have private pharmaceutical companies that have a profit motive. But you wouldn't speak out against that. You don't want to upset them, right? Senator Sen Tester of Montana was similarly unenthusiastic about ending federal marijuana penalties. Legalization would, quote, "cause more problems than it solves," Tester said. That's it, end of story. Cause more problems than it solves. Even though we have 14 states that have legalized marijuana, not just for medicinal use, for any use. You want to do it for recreational purposes? Have at it. Has the situation deteriorated in those 14 states? I don't think so. In fact, now it's gotten to the point where the mayor of Birmingham, Alabama is saying that he wants to expunge people's records of marijuana possession related charges.
Yeah.
Okay, like what are you guys doing? Why are they so embarrassing?
Yeah, well, they certainly are. So let's give you important context. What percentage of Americans think marijuana should be legalized? Well, look, Democrats are struggling with this one, so it's probably close, right? 50-50, maybe it's not quite there yet, 45% of Americans. Well, that's a lot of Americans headed in the direction of legalization. No, the real number is 70%. If 70% of the country's on your side and you can't win, you suck at your job. As a politician, that's a fact. No one could argue with that. And by the way, the Democrats often have 70% of the country on their side. I can name you a dozen issues and they're like, I can't figure out how to win. $15 minimum wage, you name it. They're like, I don't know, how would I win with only 70%? On federal background checks, they have 97% of the country on their side. I don't know, how would I win? Just retire, you suck at this thing.
Yes.
You're all dinosaurs anyway. The average age is 190 years old in the Senate. Why? Because, hey, I'm an incumbent, and so you think it's because of experience? Nobody gives a damn about experience. We don't even like politicians. Everybody, I can't stop talking about how bad the media sucks. Oh, people really like experienced politicians. No, they don't. Look at the polling, they loathe politicians. The problem is incumbents get all the corporate cash because the corporations think it's safer to give to an incumbent, more likely to win. So they have a giant financial advantage. That's why they're all 150 years old. And they're like, oh, marijuana, I heard that it's really scary. So in fact, let me give you a quote from John Hudak. He's an expert on cannabis at the Brookings Institution. And he said about the Democrats, I think they should be less scared of this issue, but ultimately they're not. What are you scared of? 70% are in favor of it. South Dakota legalized. By the way, then they turn to Republicans and they go, hey, for example, Senator Mike Rounds, you're from South Dakota. Your electorate, the Republicans in your state, the voters, your voters said they want to legalize.
Yeah.
He's like, nope.
I haven't changed my mind on the matter.
Yeah.
I haven't changed my mind. A Democrat.
No, Mike Rounds, in that case, a Republican.
Oh, he's a Republican.
Yeah, the reason I say that is because the reporters are like, well, maybe Schumer can get some Republicans, and there's libertarian Republicans and a lot of Republicans from states that have now legalized. They go to talk to those Republicans, they're all like, oh, hell no, no way, no way. Okay, so And then they go to the Rand Pauls of the world who are like, so what does the Rand Paul say? Well, I'm theoretically for people doing whatever they want with their bodies, but no. You loser, you hypocrite. And he says, oh yeah, maybe on legalization, but oh my God, letting people out of jail who were wrongly convicted? Hell no. How about new people? Maybe new people, since a lot of white people are getting arrested now. Maybe I can make a deal on that. But letting black people who were wrongly arrested before, well, hell no. Rand Paul's a no on that too. So they have no chance of passing this. So the Republicans are hopeless as usual. But the Gene Shaheens and the Sen Testers, and of course, who else?
There's more. I have it.
Go
come
ahead.
on, you know I have it.
And there's one last twist at the end of this story you're gonna love, but go ahead.
All right. So then there are the so-called undecideds among the corporate Democrats, and you have Senators Senators Joe Manchin, Bob Casey, and Mark Kelly. They all said they're undecided on legalization. And I apologize, I actually underestimated how many states have legalized it for both recreational and medicinal use. It's not 14 states, it's 18 states. 18 states have fully embraced full legalization. It's unbelievable. Also, as Politico reports, even those from states with legal recreational marijuana, as you mentioned, such as Republican Senators Mike Rounds of South Dakota, Steve Daines of Montana, and Dan Sullivan of Alaska are against or undecided on promoting or removing marijuana entirely from the Controlled Substances Act. And the fact that it's a Schedule I drug means that it's incredibly difficult for scientists to conduct the studies necessary on marijuana. It's really difficult to get the federal government to agree to allow you to get access to the marijuana necessary to do the studies. So it stands in the way of scientific research. It makes no sense. And to be honest with you, the reason why I'm more focused on Senate Democrats on this issue is because, look, Republicans are gonna Republican. They are who they are. What matters here is what the majority of the American people want. And as Cenk mentioned, 70% of Americans want it to be legalized. So what are they afraid of? What are Senate Democrats afraid of? And then, this is what we see on so many different issues. To simply say though that they're just afraid, I think leaves out your favorite point, which is, no, pharmaceutical companies know that you can grow your own pot. They can't monopolize it. And so if they can't make money off of it, they have no interest in legalizing it. And I think that's at the heart of this, really.
Yeah, that's another huge factor in this. By the way, 18 have fully legalized. 27 states have decriminalized small possessions of marijuana. That's a majority of our states. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Joe Manchin says, everything seems like it's moving in that direction. Even West Virginia has already legalized medical marijuana. By the way, one of the guys who led that was frequent Young Turks guest Richard Ojeda when he was a he was in the state legislature and did a great job with that. But Manchin adds, it looks like we're moving in that direction, but right now we're not there. Classic Manchin, classic Democratic Party. 70% of the country's there, the majority of the states are there, but not yet, not yet, not yet. What the hell are you waiting for? Do you need 90%? What do you need, knucklehead? And then of course the real answer is money. It's all in the money, okay? So now, which leads us back to two last twists on this. So the guy from the Brookings Institution, who that I quoted to you before, he says, well, why would they want to delay a little bit? Well, a failure serves as a motivator for 2022, saying we need more Democrats. No. He's not even saying this skeptically like it's a bad thing. He's just telling you that's the reality. And he says that can be an effective fundraising message for Schumer.
No.
So look at how stupid Democrats are.
They're gonna lose.
We're gonna deliver nothing every time we're in office so that you vote for us next time. So I'll come a little further, and then we'll finally do it. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Keep sending in the money. You idiots, you're gonna lose to a fascist because you never deliver anything, even the easiest things. Final part.
Can I just add one thing to that? That's what Roosevelt did, He was like, I'm gonna hold off on passing the New Deal because no, he did it and he was tremendously popular and he won 4 terms. Yeah. 4 terms, guys.
You know what he did? He passed Social Security, the whole New Deal. He was incredibly strong and kept passing bill after bill after bill. And then people are like, oh, that worked, I like that made my life better. I will vote for you. That's how it works. But they're so addicted to the money, they can't see straight. If we trick our own voters, we're never gonna do it, but we'll keep telling them we're gonna do it. We'll raise small dollar money, and then we'll go raise money from the pharmaceutical companies, and we'll raise money from everybody. Precious, but you forgot, yes, money helps you win, that's why you do it. But the other guys are also gonna have money. The Republicans are also gonna have money, and they're gonna get to say, yeah, but you elected this guy and this loser did nothing for you. And that's gonna be correct. So the final part of this, Sen Tester, who's one of the two that is a hard no from this, from Montana. He says, well, there is one thing that I wouldn't mind passing about marijuana. Really, I thought you guys weren't there. You were totally opposed. What happened? What does he want to do? The Safe Banking Act. Now, that is important because right now you got to deal in cash with marijuana. It creates crime problems, etc. And I want them to pass that. But why is that the one thing Tester doesn't mind? The rest of the Democrats don't mind passing. And by the way, has some Republican approval. Because then the money flows to the banks. Who's another giant donor to politicians? The banks. There, I solved all the politics for you. It wasn't that hard.
Hey everyone, as you all know, coronavirus has been pretty devastating for people's personal finances. The inaction in Congress or the very little relief that was provided by Congress, unfortunately, didn't do much to help small businesses that were really hurt by being forced to shut down in order to slow the spread of coronavirus. There are 100,000 small businesses that have been closed since the pandemic began. Some of you might feel helpless, but luckily there's this wonderful initiative known as the COVID Rescue Fund. So all you need to do is go to covidrescuefund.org and you'll learn more about how you can donate or how you can vote and promote your favorite small business. And really the whole point here is to offer generous grants to help these small businesses. The COVID Rescue Fund crowdsources up to $100,000 for each individual grant. So we're not talking about a small amount of money. You know, I've seen small businesses in my community shut down, and these are small businesses where I had relationships with the owners, and to watch them lose everything that they've worked so hard for has been absolutely heartbreaking. I really wanted to do something then, and I'm happy to see that there's an initiative that could help people get involved now. Go to covidrescuefund.org and donate. Let's come together and bring back as many small businesses as possible.